All right, here we are, the final chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But listen, this isn't really an ending, it's the beginning. We're going to put the philosophy on pause for a minute, because this is the playbook. This is the part where you're asked to actually do something. So, let's jump in.
So, over the last few explainers, we've covered the big ideas, right? You've learned that the rich don't work for money. No, they get assets that work for them.
You've learned how they master the game of taxes and how they flip it from being a huge liability into a powerful advantage.
And maybe most importantly, you've learned that fear is the number one thing that keeps most people stuck, running in that rat race.
And all of that knowledge, every single idea we've talked about, it all boils down to this one question. The only question that really matters. The one Robert Kiyosaki is asking you right now.
Because, let's be honest, we've all been there. It is so easy to read a book like this, get that huge rush of inspiration, stick it back on the shelf, and then life happens, and absolutely nothing changes.
Well, this final chapter is designed to be the antidote to that. This is where all the theory stops and your reality starts.
So the whole action plan kicks off with this. It's not about what you want to have, it's about what you're willing to change to get it. What routine, what old habit, what comfort zone are you ready to blow up starting today?
Step 1 is all about brutal honesty. You have to take a hard look at your financial life and admit what is just plain not working. Because if you're not getting any closer to your goals, then your current system is, by definition, broken. I know, we've all heard this quote a million times, but it's famous for a reason. If you keep using the same savings account, thinking with the same 9-to-5 mindset, and holding on to the same fear of making a move, you're going to get exactly what you have right now. The first real action is deciding to break that cycle.
So how do you break it? You have to get new information. You have to actively go out and find new inputs. Read books that kind of scare you. Go to a seminar, even if it's just an online one. Find people who are already where you want to go and just absorb how they think. New info is the only way to get new actions.
But look, just taking in new ideas, that's not enough. It's only half the battle. The next step is about turning that curiosity into real power. And that takes two things: investing in the right kind of knowledge and then actually doing something with it.
And let's be really clear here. This isn't about getting another college degree. This is about targeted financial education. It's about learning the language of money, real estate deals, stock market patterns, how to structure a corporation, the tax code. This is what Kiyosaki calls cranking up your financial IQ.
And here's the really cool part about this. Financial education isn't just about getting smarter. It's about making things less risky and beating fear. Why? Because the unknown is terrifying. The more you actually understand, the more confident your decisions become.
And all that knowledge, all that learning, it's all pointed at one thing: giving you the confidence to take this next, absolutely critical step. You've got to move from analyzing to acting. When you see a potential deal, you have to make an offer.
Even if your offer is low, even if it gets rejected, and believe me, most of them will, you gain something priceless. You get experience. You learn how to negotiate. You get a real feel for the market. Most people are just too scared of hearing no to even try. That one single action, that's the dividing line.
Okay, so the next couple of steps are less about spreadsheets and numbers and more about your psychology. Kiyosaki argues that your inner world and your social circle are just as important as any financial plan. So first, find your heroes. People like Warren Buffett. The point isn't to be envious. It's to study their journey with real curiosity. It just makes huge goals feel possible. And second, be generous. Rich Dad's whole philosophy was to give first. Give information, give contacts, give value. That is how you build the trust and reputation that make real opportunities come to you. And now we get to the final and, you know what? Probably the most important shift of all. It's the one thing that underpins every single action we've just talked about. It's making the move from an employee's mindset to an owner's mindset. This diagram right here, it's basically the entire book in one simple image. It's all about moving from the left side of this quadrant, the employee and the self-employed, over to the right side, the business owner and the investor. And that's not just a job change. It is a total rewiring of how you see the world. I mean, just look at this comparison. The employee mindset, it's driven by the fear of losing money. So what does it want? Job security, comfort. The owner mindset is driven by a totally different fear, the fear of missing an opportunity. So it seeks to create value, and it actively chases the discomfort that comes with growth. Which side of this slide sounds more like you right now?
So, if you've been following this whole series, you can see how it all connects. It all starts with your mindset. That leads you to buy assets. Then you learn to use the tax code as a tool and your skills as leverage. But every single one of those pieces is totally useless without this last one, action.
All the book summaries and takeaways in the entire world mean nothing without execution. Knowledge that you don't act on, it's just trivia. It's like having a full tank of gas, but never starting the car.
So let's make this real. No more vague goals. Here is the challenge. From me to you. What is one specific asset you are going to commit to acquiring in the next 12 months? Could be a stock, could be a small real estate deal, could be just setting up an LLC. Decide on it right now and then drop it in the comments. Let's make it real.
And if you just made that commitment, you're going to want to subscribe, because our future explainers are going to break down the exact strategies and the psychology you'll need to see it through. This isn't the end of the book, it's the beginning of your action plan.